We have some breaking news right now. The LAPD with a pursuit.
Let's go to Mike Rogers on the desk monitoring the situation down below. Mike?
Yeah, so what we're watching right now, it's the black BMW. These are 211 suspects, which is a robbery suspect. You see the LAPD right behind it. I'm trying to tell what division that is. It looks like it's Olympic division that is chasing this car right now. So again, armed robbery, or sorry, 211. We don't know if it's an armed robbery, just the robbery suspect here. Olympic division
Pit
officers
maneuver, Mike.
Chasing. Oh, look at that.
Pit maneuver. That was quick.
That was quick.
Maneuver, Mike.
Chasing. Oh, look at that.
Pit maneuver. That was quick.
That was quick. All right,
No
so we'll see. It was
messing
supposed to be
around here.
occupied 3 times. We'll see how many people get out of it.
You know, it's not often, Mike, that we see a pit maneuver on a busy street like this in terms of, you know, the cars being parked on either side of the road.
Yeah, no, that was really good. That was a very good.
And by the LAPD, Mike.
And by the LAPD, it was a very good pit maneuver. They must have had that opportunity just right. This was pretty fresh. We had just gotten overhead. This pursuit had not gone on for very long before they ended up in this position. Window is down. We see that person have his arm out, not necessarily opening the door like they would want him to. It looks like he may be having some words back and forth with those officers. I'm going to ask Oliver if he can put up the map tracker here so we can see exactly where this came to an end. But we are basically just to the west of the downtown Los Angeles. Thanks. Venice and Bonnie Bray. Venice and Bonnie Bray is where this came to an end.
Tell us the want again.
This was a robbery suspect.
Do we know if this person is armed?
We don't know that. They originally came out as just what they called, they were in pursuit of 211 suspects. Generally, if they were believed to be armed, they would have put it out as an armed 211. We haven't heard that. But again, SkyCal was up. We were headed to fireworks. And this happened kind of all at the same time right underneath of us. So we're working on getting exactly, you know, was this fresh? Was it they picked up a license plate? What were the circumstances here? Regardless, though, you look at this person who is clearly not following the directions of officers. He's trying to negotiate with them. He's talking to them. Hopefully he just, opens the door and gets out. But at this point, he's not done that just yet. You see him moving around a lot. We had initially heard that there may have been more than one person in the car as well.
Yeah, we are looking at the guy in the car there, the driver, making a lot of hand motions. At least Mikey is keeping his hands up out and above where the officers can see him. But as you were saying, there's lots of conversation going on, perhaps some sort of negotiations of sort. But at this point, that pit maneuver, which happened just as we came over this pursuit here of these robbery suspects, very successful. And Mike, I'm sure once we replay it, we can see it again, but I'm wondering if that car actually hit any of the cars parked on the side of the street there.
Yeah, he did. The passenger's front side, I think he hit both of them. That silver, I think that's a Nissan, or that gray Nissan that's right there. It looked like he kind of slid sideways into it. I think he ended up hitting both of them. So, thankfully they were parked. There was no pedestrians right in the area. I mean, that primary officer really took the right opportunity to try to get in there and do this pit maneuver and bring this to an end. We're hearing, and as we can kind of tell, the driver is uncooperative at this point. Looks like he's got a cigarette or something else hanging out of his mouth that he's smoking, but these officers are trying to get him to come out. What is that? Oh, he's lighting it. There he goes. Okay. So yeah, he does have something in his mouth that he just lit, either a cigarette or something else, but not obviously the move that the LAPD wants this person to make. He wants them to, they want him to get out and surrender and all of those things. And again, we're working on kind of clearing this up, but we had heard initially that there may have been more than one person in the car. None of the other people have gotten out either, so we don't know exactly what the status is or if this guy is actually the only person. But certainly they want him to get out. He's got his hands out the window. He's halfway complying, but not quite all the way, which would be to fully get out of the car.
Yeah, that's the interesting part, Mike. His hands are showing. He looks like he's complying. He's communicating with officers. The window is rolled down. Why isn't he getting out of the car, Suze? What do you think?
What is he hiding? Does he have an issue of getting out? Right. I mean, sometimes that can be the issue. It looks like he's like showing them that I can't open this door. That's how he was kind of signaling, like, I can't do that. But it looks like he's smoking his cigarette and has both hands, as Juan was alluding to, out the window. Yeah. And that's the instructions that police officers will give you with their guns trained. They will say to you, throw your keys out the window, put your hands where we can see them out the window.
Seatbelt is still on too,
Susan.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're supposed to take off your seatbelt and open the door from the outside and walk towards them. So if he's not complying, maybe just having a cigarette break before he actually does so, you don't know why, but it makes you wonder what he's doing.
He is aggressively smoking that cigarette, Mike, as our Desmond Shaw likes to say, the last cigarette before he's taken into custody tonight, right?
Final freedom cigarette.
Yeah, look at that.
I played back the video, and I don't know if we can show it to our viewers as well of the pit maneuver, but they did pit him on the right side of your screen is where you're going to see it here. They pit him on the driver's side. On the driver's rear side is where they pit him, and you'll see the car kind of spin around as he comes around the bus right there. It's going to be a second. He's going to make a turn. I think our video is in slow motion right now for some reason, but he does make the turn down the street, and that's where the pit maneuver happens. So they were able to spin him around. I didn't see the officer's car make any contact with the driver's door to make it. Oh no, look, the driver's door is open now.
You see him getting ready for it there on the left side.
Yeah, the pit should be coming right there. And it was kind of a longer pit.
It's turning that.
Yeah, you see him spinning around right there.
And he did hit those 2 cars, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. On the left side of your screen, those live pictures, that driver's door is open. It does look like he's got 1 foot out. Here comes hopefully the other foot. There we go. Hands are up. We're walking away from the car, which is, the best scenario here. You didn't want this to drag on and do an hours-long, kind of standoff situation, which unfortunately these pursuits sometimes do. So he's going to, shouldn't be doing that. They don't go. Got to put the license plate back in. Yep. Can't forget that. Oh
no! What's happening
Pulled
here?
the fast one. Oh, and he's trying to drive away.
He changed his mind.
Look at that. He put it in reverse.
Here we were thinking that maybe a second person might get out of this car. We're not sure if there's accomplices in this car, but we thought for sure we had this person.
Yeah, he duped him and picked up that license plate that was on the ground. And look at this. Now he is off again, taking off. LAPD is going to be back in pursuit of this guy after that really successful pit maneuver. He was able to maneuver and continue on and keep going and going and going and going down the street here. Venice Boulevard and Constance Street. You've got that Olympic unit that's right behind him again as this pursuit continues. I definitely thought he was going to surrender. I didn't think he was going to get out of that one. That certainly was not the case. I do want to let our viewers know we are headed towards downtown Los Angeles, and at this point, there is a Dodger TFR. There are flight restrictions up for the Dodgers. So we won't be able to follow this unless he, comes back north or changes his position. We won't be able to follow it. That is the freeway, the 110 freeway that he is going under right now as he is making his way into downtown. And look at this, that LAPD cruiser looks like he kind of wants to do another pit maneuver. We'll see if that happens. Speed's a little too high right now. Wrong side of the road. You got some construction cones going on, and this is going to be as far as SkyCal is going to be able to fly as a result of this. So as long as he keeps going straight, we'll be able to follow him for a little bit. Hopefully he turns. But downtown is getting obviously much more crowded down there. The helicopters are going to have issues. Now, well, he wanted to make the turn. That's a one-way street, though. Thought better of it. Wrong side of the road, though, still, as we come down here to Venice and Flower, you guys.
Well, we talk about these flight restrictions, Mike, the fact that we can't fly over when they have a Dodgers game, and those restrictions are in place for a reason. But, it certainly makes us feel like, oh boy, we want to see the end of this. And I know our viewers are the same way, but we're going to try to stick with this for as long as we can. But again, this person wanted for a robbery, stopped in LA, and then is actually near downtown right now, but stopped. And then, Juan, after they were pitted, usually that stops the car, that stops it from going again. But after he had almost gotten out of the car, actually he did get out of the car.
He did.
Yeah,
he had his best fake out.
Yeah, he did the best fake out.
Here we go.
He had his hands behind his back, listening to the instructions of the officers. Then decided, oh, you know what? Let me pick up my license plate, and you know what? Let me just go ahead and get back in the car again and take off.
I wonder, Mike, if he saw maybe when he picked up that license plate, he was checking, is there anything behind me that's blocking me so that I can then take off? And that's exactly what we saw happen here. And what's interesting, Mike, I can't remember the last time I saw LAPD be so aggressive on a pursuit. And even on the left side of your screen, the live shot there.
Well, they're going wrong way right now.
How close they are still to this driver.
Yeah, and that's wrong way. They're going the wrong way down. I think that's Grand they're going down. Now, the good news is this is different than the LAX airspace. So with the Dodger flight restriction, the LAPD helicopters are still allowed in the airspace. So they're allowed to still follow. In fact, there are 2 of them that are following this guy. And Oliver and our pilot tonight are doing a great job at keeping eyes on this. But look at that. We're wrong way on a one-way, and now we're in a bike lane on a one-way. Incredibly dangerous. 9th and Grand, downtown Los Angeles on a busy night. No doubt it's 5 o'clock, it's Friday night. You see pedestrians in the crosswalk. He's making down that northbound turn. Hopefully that is at least hopefully he's back on the correct side, which it looks like he is. So hopefully that will stay that way. And, maybe the LAPD gets another opportunity to do another pit. I mean, it was, as far as pits go, it was a very successful pit. Unfortunately, though, he was just able to get out of it after kind of faking them out a little bit like that.
And the thing is, Mike, right, that the officers were so close to him, but still there was that spot behind him, the empty spot where he was able to back out and leave. And we know basically officer placement is very specific when you're basically cornering a suspect.
Yeah, I mean, it's really critical. And, you have to weigh so many options here, right? Because you've got to make sure the officers are safe. You have to make sure that they're not putting themselves in harm's way. But ideally, you would want to block that person in so that they can't maneuver out the way that he did. Unfortunately, we're going under the freeway there, Ollie. Unfortunately, he was able to get his way around that. As we come back out, we should hopefully be able to, well, he's kind of not going the right way still. I'm hoping, okay, here we go. We get it on the freeway now. So this is going to be the 110, I believe, southbound. So we'll see where he goes here. If he continues to go 110 southbound, then we'll run into LAX issues. So we'll see how that goes and see if he stays on it. But kind of all over the place. On the Gore point, almost kind of hitting I thought he was going to hit the Gore point there. But coming back off the freeway. So not long lived on that freeway. But look at these Olympic officers. These Olympic officers really want this guy.
Yeah.
And hopefully they'll be able to do another pit maneuver here and kind of bring this to an end.
Just really interesting because, he was not cooperative when they first stopped him, right? He started having some kind of words back and forth, when the officers were yelling their orders to, get out of the car. He wasn't getting out of the car initially. And then he did eventually.
Yeah.
He did. And then he started following their orders and walking backwards as they like you to do, with your hands behind your back. And then all of a sudden he saw that license plate on the ground, grabbed it, and then got back in. So, we thought for a minute this person might be cooperative, but it looks like they are, trying to get away from police no matter what. And, at this point, the fact that they're evading police, I mean, they're on top of a robbery charge. We don't know what else is happening here. And inside this car, no less, because we don't know if there's also another passenger inside this car. We didn't see that passenger when they were stopped initially, but we had heard that there was someone else involved.
Did we see someone, Mike? We didn't, right?
We did not, no. And that makes me question, we're going to try to play some of the radio traffic back and get some clarity on that. But that was the initial word. But I didn't see anybody in the passenger seat. I mean, I know that rear window was rolled down, but certainly the suspect could have done that himself. Back northbound on the 110 freeway, though, through the downtown area. Just a really weird kind of situation. He stopped and, the whole getting out of the car and, I'm just grabbing my license plate. And, that whole thing was definitely a bit strange. And again, for our viewers wondering why we're so far away, Sky Cal is contending with the Dodgers flight restrictions. And we're not going to get rid of those anytime soon. The game just started at 7:10. So we've got a significant amount of time before that goes through. And Ollie, I think he continued northbound on the 110 past these buildings. So, we're doing the best that we can here. Oliver's doing a great job on the camera, trying to keep an eye on this guy. We know that at least the police helicopters are able to still be with it because they're not restricted by the Dodgers flight restrictions the way we are. They're still allowed to go through that area. So right now we're looking like, the 110 freeway, he may have gotten off. I think he got off in his back going eastbound into downtown, which is going to make things really difficult for us to kind of monitor, but we'll do our best here.
Yeah, we're watching the great getaway there, Mike, on the right side of your screen happening moments ago. This is tape from just earlier here where this driver pulled a Houdini, basically, Susie, and was able to three-point turn his way out of a pursuit stop here. And as we were mentioning earlier, just you can see the placement of the officers there. Even this officer that kind of like lunged forward, not fast enough to basically keep this driver from going anywhere else.
It's true. And, we've seen the situation where a pursuit suspect will stay in their car, stop, and act like everything is okay and, they're going to make this complete stop and then go again. But I can't remember the one last time we saw someone get out of their car and actually start obeying the rules or, the orders of the officers and then get back in their car and take off.
Yeah, indeed. And on another note, SkyCal giving us some really beautiful night shots over the city of Los Angeles. There again, we are contending with a flight restriction due to a Dodger game tonight. As Mike was saying, the game started around 7:10 tonight, so it's going to be a restricted flight area for a while. But Mike, as you were saying earlier, 2 LAPD helicopters, right, still above us all. At least they're close. They know where this guy is right now, right?
Yeah, and you're looking at one right there that Ollie was just showing us. He's kind of in the area of, he's going down 6th Street right now, kind of in the area of 6th and Main, kind of really right in smack dab the heart of downtown LA. So, the problem is we're right on the other side of those tall buildings is kind of where he is. But 6th and Main is where they're going. I do hear them also trying to get some clarity on what the robbery was. Somebody asked if it was with a gun. Somebody responded no. So what exactly it was is still being kind of sorted out here, but we're roughly at the area of 6th and Main right now in downtown.
Well, we are going to do our best, continue to do our best to stay over this scene and bring you the latest on this pursuit of a robbery suspect.
Okay, we're going to go back to that breaking news story right here. Pursuit of a suspect stopped Mike once again and taken off once again.
Yeah, so he just went back northbound, and again, he got out of the car, and I don't know if Ollie can slide his way back to the west a little bit, but we'll probably see him pop out on that street right there. So they got out of the car. He got out of the car, yelled at them. He was right there at 6th and San Pedro.
Wow.
And now we're going back westbound. You saw that officer just pull back through there. So again, bear with us, guys. We're going to be in and out of this picture because of the buildings in downtown and the flight restrictions. But there you see him peeking through. The last one, though, he got out and again was standing outside of the car, was very agitated with the officers. And then I think he made a southbound towards you. There you go, Ollie. There he is right there. So he got out of the car very agitated with the officers and then Mike. Just as quick. But look at this. You got people in the crosswalks. Now we're just kind of doing circles back eastbound. And this is where we just were just a second ago when he got out, yelled at the officers, got back in and took off.
You just wonder what he's communicating to the officers, you know, about what? What is he saying? You know, I'm not going to get out of this car, or, you know, I'm not the person that you're looking for. It's just incredible that this person, that the LAPD will get them out of the car. And then again, twice, pulling fast ones twice on the LAPD. Again, I'm going to repeat what I said earlier. Oftentimes, we do see these pursuit suspects stay inside their cars and pretend like they're going to make a stop and do so for a while. But then again, you see them take off. But this is the first time that I can tell you that I've seen a person actually get out of the car and then take off again twice.
And we're doing this loop. This is now the second time we've come around this area, and we'll see if he makes another southbound turn, which is what he did just a couple of seconds ago. So we've been in and out of this area. There he is again. So now we're just doing circles around this block of streets. Oof. That officer pulled out in front. I didn't think he saw them. This would be a great time for LAPD to do spikes and toss something out. I mean, this guy's gone in the same direction over and over and over again. Pit maneuver. There we go. Okay. So there's another pit.
Wow.
Now if they can box him in. Nope. He's going to wave. He's going to get out of. And there's pedestrians everywhere. So now we're doing the reverse. Now we're back northbound here. And I can't tell if the car's spinning out. They may have gotten a good spike. That car looks like it's kind of fishtailing there a little bit.
I didn't think there would be a strike 3, but this guy took off and was able to get away. Hopefully they didn't spike him and that these tires are slowly losing some air here.
Right, that's the hope. Now we're back westbound. I think that's on 5th Street there as we come back through this intersection. So the LAPD definitely getting more aggressive kind of in their tactics. A pedestrian right there in the crosswalk as this guy comes back southbound now on Los Angeles Street from 5th and crossing in through 6th. Wrong side of the road. More pedestrians there in the crosswalk as he approaches this red traffic light through it. The officers are through it. You see how many officers are behind this. And at this point, they're really invested in getting this guy to stop and pull over. And this whole theatrics of him stopping and going and stopping and going, at least for the moment, has subsided as he continues to run pretty hard as we come through the south end of downtown Los Angeles here on Los Angeles Street through 8th Street now. The LAPD helicopter is overhead. A reminder for our viewers, SkyCal is at a distance because of Dodger game flight restrictions that are happening. So we're doing our best to keep up with it. But the LAPD on the ground is doing a really good job of keeping up with it. They are right on this person's tail here as he goes through downtown. Of course, a busy Friday night, another red light that he's approaching, and another red light that he is kind of blowing right through. Those officers at least slowing down a bit to clear the intersection before they move through it here, but continuing to do this. Remember, this started in Olympic Division. Olympic Division roughly is the area of Koreatown for the LAPD. So they are kind of, still roughly around that area, but in the downtown LA area now. We have seen at least 2 pit maneuvers. He has gotten out of both of them. That first pit maneuver, though, he actually got out, looked like he was going to surrender and kind of juked the cops. He got out, picked up his license plate that was on the ground, kind of pointed to it, said, I'm just going to toss this in the car here, and then jump back in and took off. Since then, we have seen him get out of the car, yell at officers, get back in, and take off. Now as we approach 12th Street here in the downtown LA area, as we wrap up CBS LA at 8, We'll be starting CBS LA at 9 here on KCAL 9, but these officers continuing to chase this person. Speeds have been kind of all over the place. There's been times where he goes very quickly. There's been other times where he slows down, but we are continuing to kind of monitor this chase as we enter the southern end of downtown LA. He'll be approaching the 10 freeway here pretty quickly.
And you are watching now CBS LA at 9. I'm Ruta Bay Shabazi along with Mike Rogers, and we are watching a pursuit over downtown Los Angeles. This is a robbery suspect. And Mike, this has been quite an interesting pursuit so far tonight.
It has. And Ruta Bay, I wanted to point out, it looks like he's kind of fishtailing a little bit, or at least I think he may have, I think they may have had a good spike somewhere along the way. Now, this is a BMW. BMWs oftentimes come with run flat tires, which makes spike strips difficult for law enforcement, but the way his car has been kind of fishtailing, either he's not driving it very well or he has lost a tire or is at least losing some air in one of those tires. Again, very low speeds, now back to 15 miles an hour. And as you pointed out, Ruta Bay, there was one point, and at some point we'll show it to you on the right side of your screen, that's a file from a little bit earlier, but where he was surrendered. He got out, his hands were up, he was doing the whole song and dance, I'm ready to go to jail, and then all of a sudden grabbed his license plate on the ground and ran back in the car and took off. And that's kind of where we are now. Since then, we've had another pit maneuver. We've had another instance where he gets out of the car, exchanges words with officers, and then takes off. But we're basically paralleling the 10 freeway now to the west as he works his way down here. Basically, I think we're on 17th right now is where we're at.
Yeah, this was just wild. So many twists and turns in this one. When you think it's over, it picks back up again. I actually was in the newsroom. I thought it was coming to an end, and by the time I got out to the studio, it was going again. So is he on the freeway now?
Yeah, westbound 10 freeway. And this will be, he's been on the 110 already. We'll see what he does, if he continues just straight west or if he's going to try to take a transition. He's gone up and down the 110 a couple of times so far.
Yeah, and you mentioned that the tires looked unstable, the car itself might look unstable, and then when he's going, picking up speed on the freeway here, you have to wonder how the integrity of the car is going to hold up.
Right, and how long he'll be able to continue to drive in the way he is. And, oh, you know what? Now we're going to see how this goes. Well, it looks like, I can't tell if he stopped or no, he's still to the left. But the watch commander just ordered them to terminate the pursuit. So the watch commander doesn't seem to want to continue on with this, although the ground units are... Okay, so I'm just listening to the airship. They're still going with it. You got the airship overhead, you've got the units. Okay, so they did just turn their lights off. Look at that. I'll pull out just a little bit I want to show. So those units have cut their code 3 lights. So they are technically not in pursuit anymore. The airship is... Yeah, he's repeating again to terminate the pursuit. Airship's still overhead. We'll see if the airship wants to get CHP involved. It's kind of interesting. I have to be honest with you, Ruta Bay. I am a little surprised that they're going to terminate this pursuit, given the fact how hard they've been chasing it. They're asking right now if they want the airship to continue to monitor it, which it sounds like they were given the clearance to continue to monitor it. So they'll at least be in the area, but they have been told to terminate the pursuit. There is no night sun on it anymore, and the ground units that were chasing it have killed all their lights as well.
And he is fishtailing again.
Yeah.
It's pretty significant, pretty noticeable. And also, you talk about them terminating the pursuit, also the severity of the want is kind of surprising, right?
I am, and this is robbery. I mean, this is a robbery suspect. We don't know the circumstances surrounding the robbery. I know that there was a point where somebody asked if a gun was involved, and somebody responded they didn't think so. So I don't know if if the wants got a little wobbly and they weren't able to, kind of track that down as well as maybe they thought they had it, and that's why they're backing off. But the speeds have been dangerous. The driving has certainly been dangerous. But once you see a couple of pit maneuvers and spike strips, the law enforcement doesn't generally back off after that. That kind of is like when they're in it. But that's not the case. Right side of your screen is the first pit maneuver that we thought was going to end this. It was a very good pit maneuver. The guy is out, and then watch this. Picks up the license plate, references it. Oh, got to put this in the car, and me too. And he jumps in and takes off. And I was kind of surprised that he had the wiggle room to do that, but he certainly did. And this pursuit's been going on ever since then.
Yeah, and it took quite a while for him to actually get the car going, too. But you have to wonder kind of what officers are, thinking at that point, too. He could be armed.
Right.
He's obviously erratic. It doesn't seem like he has a lot to lose at this point. And you just have to worry about it, especially in that downtown area on a 4th of July weekend, Friday night. So many people out and about just wanting to celebrate the holiday weekend, and someone like this coming barreling down the street.
Yeah, now I will say, and I was just going to say this, and of course he's on the wrong side of the road now, but I was going to say, it did seem like as soon as they kind of stopped chasing him, okay, passengers out. There was a passenger. We were wondering about that. Okay, and there's a black and white right there. Are they going to go after the passenger? Nope, they're going to let him go. The light sun's back on. Let's see what they do. So we had wondered if there was passengers in there. We had heard there might be, but they never got out. Fishtailing again through the intersection. Oof.
Oh, no.
Well, hopefully this will be the end of it. That wasn't too terrible of a crash. Okay, driver's out. Well, maybe not. Oh, it's still going.
Yet again. He's throwing everyone off again.
I was hoping
that other car is okay, the people in that other car.
I know, and I was hoping that would have disabled his car, but here we go, lights and sirens again. Looks like we're back into full-blown pursuit. This car can't have much left in it. Okay, we're out. He's not going to try to carjack this, is he?
Oh, no.
Okay, good. I was worried about that car. Okay, off and running. I mean, he's not really even putting his heart into running. They're going to catch him pretty quickly here, I think, but we'll see. You got those officers. Yeah, okay, they're right here. They're taking him into custody. New Hampshire Avenue, Venice Boulevard, Harvard Heights, not far from where we started, but the suspect, after a really kind of destructive path here, finally being taken into custody by those officers.
Yeah, and you wonder about the passenger, too. We kind of lost eyes on him, but we hope that the officers were able to get that passenger, too, and I'm sure he has quite a story to tell as well.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised the passengers didn't get out earlier when all of this was going on, because he had a couple of opportunities to do that, but didn't. Now, I see, okay, they're code 6 with the driver. I couldn't tell if he went in or if they got him on the sidewalk there. Oh, they are inside the house. So the guy was able to run inside of this house here. Oh, he got
inside the house?
Yeah. So that's what they just said. The officer just got on the radio and said, we're inside the house here, right under this light. So, and the house looks like kind of no, it's not abandoned. It just maybe a little bit run down. But yeah, they're inside of the house.
And no lights on. It doesn't look like any lights are on inside the house.
Okay, so here's the officers. Oh, look at the front door. You got officers right there.
You see their flashlights.
Yeah, I wonder if he was
no lights in the house.
Yeah,
as far as I can see.
Yeah, you have like a blue light on the front porch. So they're setting up a perimeter. Ollie, go back wide a little bit. They're setting up a perimeter. I wonder if they're worried he was going to scoot out a back. Yeah, they're guiding that officer into the alley. I think they're worried the suspect got out one of the back doors when he ran into the house. So now they're setting up a perimeter. Man, I thought they had him.
Yeah, I did too. So did they make contact with him, or we couldn't really see because it was hidden under the trees there?
Yeah, we couldn't really see. The officers are inside. They've chased the guy inside of the home.
And so are they allowed to just go inside someone's home like that, Mike, when the suspect runs inside?
Yeah, they have, reasonable suspicion that he obviously was the suspect in a crime, and not to mention potentially endangering the public that may be inside of that home. I'm not convinced that home's not abandoned, though, and maybe just being taken over. I mean, this one behind, it's all dilapidated, no windows, things like that. So. And
in the center there in the courtyard, it kind of looked like a little bit of a homeless encampment or remnants of some sort of encampment, just from what we can see from this far away. So, but interesting that he knew to go into that place. Makes you wonder if he is familiar with the location or if he just saw an opportunity and darted inside.
Right.
Taking a look at it on the right-hand side of the screen.
Oh. Okay, so there's a guy, he's in custody, but he's still fighting, and they need to go in there and hobble him, they say. So they've got two, okay, yeah, so look at all those officers pouring inside of that house right now. So now they're putting it out as an officer needs help call, which means he's significantly fighting with the officers inside of that house. So that's why you saw them all run. And actually, Ollie, go straight in. Is that him right there on the patio? Okay, that may be him.
Looks like it.
Yeah. Okay, so they may have gotten two people there. Okay. So it sounds like both suspects are in custody. So finally this person is in custody, but it sounds like he put up a pretty decent fight with the officers after he ran inside. They asked for officers to bring in a hobble, when the hobble essentially is when they tie their legs and arms, or legs and hands, feet and hands rather, together to keep them from thrashing around. So it looks like, yeah, this person put up a pretty decent fight when they were, there he is.
Oh, there he is.
So they're carrying him out. He really didn't want to go to jail tonight.
Well, he is going to jail tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of didn't work out that well for him because he is going to jail, but man, it looks like he put up quite the fight to get out of there. He's hogtied. They're dragging him they're carrying him back to one of the patrol cars where they'll put him in the back seat. But sounds like they got everybody. And at Rudabay, I was just listening to it. Sounds like they got that passenger that took off originally too. So, everyone's going to be in custody on this one. It took some time and not without a fight.
Yeah, and a scary situation, not only for the people in the cars on the road, but pedestrians in downtown LA and those officers who didn't really know what they were dealing with, whether this person was armed, whether the passenger was armed, how many passengers he had in the car. So this was quite an interesting one, and a lot of false endings to this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they were coming and going the whole time.
All right, well, both suspects in custody, the driver and the passenger.